And let's begin. So same thing as usual. Let's try to just get ourselves a little bit taller through the spine. So imagine pushing a book towards the ceiling. Be careful what your spine is doing. Sometimes we stand taller, we tend to almost over arch your back like this. So if you can, maybe notice if you're in this shape, and if you are, see if you can just pull your tailbone down a little bit, okay, and try to put your shoulders on top of your hips, and then your head over your shoulders as well. Okay, and let's just take one breath in this position. Okay, breathing still into our stomach area, the diaphragm. Okay, and try to just notice where you're holding tension and see if you can still relax it as much as you can. Okay, and start to your neck. So just do a couple of left and right turns. Okay, and then up and down. Okay, and let's do a gentle circle. So once again, if it makes you dizzy, don't force it, but just do a very gentle circle. Sometimes there can be a little bit of clicking sounds. If it doesn't hurt, that's okay. You don't even have to go into like maximum range. You just go into a comfortable range, okay, by moving your head in a circle. Okay, so today let's actually also move our eyes a little bit. Okay, so what you're gonna do is that you're gonna stick your thumb out. Okay, and what you're gonna do is that you're just gonna move your thumb side to side. And what you're trying to do is that my eyeballs are trying to just track it. So without moving your head so much. Okay, and you don't have to move too fast, but see if you can just follow your thumb with just your eyeballs. Okay, and then try to be up and down. Okay, so sometimes when we look at computer screens too much, our eyeballs almost lock into one place. Okay, and sometimes even our focus. So people, sometimes when we get older, our eyes don't focus as fast. So this is in a way a little bit of practice. So last one, see if you can focus, make your eyes focus on your thumb. Okay, and then slowly, so this one can feel a little weird, but slowly see if you can move your finger in and can see if you can make your eyes focus so that your thumb looks like actually one single thumb and not like two separate thumbs. Okay, and then slowly also go back out. So once again, it can actually make your eyes tired almost. Okay, so maybe if you start to do that, just stop. Okay, but see if you can just slowly and even give yourself a pause. Okay, to make sure your eyeballs can actually focus onto at different, I guess, focal lengths, we might call it. Okay, and then you can afterwards you can just close your eyes a little bit. Okay, so let's move on to the shoulders. Okay, so for this one, if you want, you can hold on to a box of some kind or like any object, or not, you can hold it together or just put your hands together like this. Okay, so let's just try to keep our elbows straight. Okay, but see if you can draw almost a circle with and you're moving the shoulder blade. Okay, but the action would look like you're pushing the box kind of forward and then kind of pulling it back, okay, without bending your elbows. Okay, so let's do maybe about 5 times. So this can be a little bit difficult to control. Holding something might actually make it easier. Okay, and same thing on the opposite direction. Okay, so about 3 to 5 times on the other side, other direction. Okay, and moving on to the shoulders. So this one we did before, but in our previous classes, but you're trying to keep your chest bone facing forward, keep your belly button facing forward. You're gonna bring one arm in, try to reach a little further in, so you might feel a little bit of tension in the front of your chest. Okay, and you try to have your kind of reach your pinky upwards. Okay, reaching overhead while keeping the elbows roughly straight. And you're just trying to reach behind you, like you have to catch something or someone's handing you something behind. Okay, and when you reach your limit, turn the thumb kind of down and I guess in the opposite, rotate it on the opposite direction. Okay, and then going back down. Okay, so let's do about 5 times, sorry, 3 times. So just gonna go, actually let's do 2, sorry, 2 and then we'll change direction. So 4 in total. Okay, so it's just a you can think of it as just a very exaggerated circle. So once you reach your limit, then you just rotate the thumb other way so that the palm is facing up again. Okay, and down. Okay, then opposite direction. So they reach back the palm down. Okay, once you reach your limit, you can turn your thumb outside. Okay, and try to reach overhead. inwards, okay, and just repeat. So sorry, this should be thumb going inwards first, and then thumb going out, okay, reaching back, up, and then inwards. Okay, so just about 2 times per direction. Okay, and same thing other side. Once again, chest facing forward, belly facing forward. Okay, you're gonna scoop something up inside of us. You're gonna bring it overhead. Okay, reach behind you without overturning your body too much. So really try to open up the shoulders. Okay, and when you reach your limit, turn and get something behind you. Okay, and down. And repeat. So once again, pinky up first. All the way around. Turn, rotate your arm the other way. Okay, and there. Okay, opposite direction. So reaching back. When you are close to the reaching limit, you're going to turn your arm the other way. Reach all the way up. All the way in. Okay, and then. Okay, one last time. So palm facing, push up water back first. When you can't push it back any further, turn your palm, still reaching back, all the way up and down. Okay, and on to the elbows. So you're gonna just lightly anchor down your upper arm. What you're gonna do is you're gonna rotate your pinky forward as far as you can go. Bring it up. Turn your thumb as far forward as you can. Okay, and down. Okay, let's do it about 3 times. So number 2. Okay, so really try to rotate in this way so that you always try to almost reach with your pinky. Get the opposite, reach with the thumb. Okay, back down. Okay, one last time. And 3. Okay, and let's do the same thing on the other side. So you're not rotating the entire arm so much. So your upper arm will stay pretty much still. You're rotating the hand and the forearm. Okay, and rotate. Okay, 2. Okay, so really try to reach with your pinky, reach with your thumb. Okay, one last time. And 3. Okay, and down. Okay, onto the wrist. So let's try to have the palms up. You grab your wrist. Okay, and you're just trying to point your fingers down as much as you can. Reach inwards as much as you can. Reach up, and then reach outside. Okay, so let's do 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the other way. 1, 2, 3. So I'm trying to hold onto my wrist so that not my entire arm is rotating. It's just my wrist that's moving. Okay, same thing on the other side. So palms up, and I'm just holding it so that I'm not rotating my elbow, not rotating the shoulders. Okay, so kind of down. Maybe starting inwards, upwards, outside. 2, 3. Get out of the way. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and let's move all of our fingers. Okay, moving all the fingers side to side. Okay, let's move on to the hips. Okay, so we're gonna have the chair on one side. You can hold on to the wall as well, and we're gonna do the big hip circles. So what you're gonna do is gonna push one leg back, okay, without arching it back, without leaning forward. So upper body, actually pretty much the entire body still stays still, except for the moving leg. Okay, so I'm pushing it back and lifting the leg out to the side. Okay, and I'm just stepping over a small box. Okay, and then back to the front. Okay, let's do about 2 times per direction. So once again, just kicking the heel back, lifting your leg out to the side, bringing the knee up as if you're stepping over a box, okay, and to the front. Okay, and then we're gonna go into the opposite direction. Okay, so you're gonna scoop something up of the middle of the inside of your foot. Okay, bring it kind of out. Okay, dangle your foot down, okay, and then trying to point your foot back, okay, and then kick someone behind you, knee back together, and down. Okay, so one more time, be in a slightly different angle. Scoop something up with the inside of the foot again, trying to bring it up a little higher. Bring that the entire leg to the outside. When you reach your limit, then start dropping your foot, and you might be able to go a little higher. Okay, and point your foot back, push it back. Okay, and then and down. So it's just a very exaggerated head circle. Okay, so like we kind of mentioned last time, the joints itself requires movement and compression and relaxation for to get the nutrients and the waste kind of in and out of the joint. Okay, so let's try the other leg. So we go the forward direction first, which is easier. So you push one leg back, lift the leg up, bring up. And if you want, you can even use a little less of your hands. It becomes a little bit of a balance exercise as well. Okay, so if you can, see if you can stabilize the body onto that one leg, okay, and just move that single leg. Okay, so once again, pushing back, out to the side, lift the knee up as if you're stepping over something. Okay, and then, okay, and then 2 times in the other direction. So then scoop something up on the inside, bring everything out. Once you reach your limit, drop the foot, see if you can bring up even higher the knee, point your foot back, and then push it back. Then, okay, and then, okay, one last time. So the setting hip might be a little tight. Okay, so still standing tall, scoop something up. Okay, without bending over once again, bring it outside. My belly button is still roughly facing forward. Drop the foot, point the foot back, press it back, and then, and there. Okay, shaking out. Okay, and then on to the knee. So this time, I'm gonna sit down a little bit. So this one, you're gonna hold the leg a little higher. So what you're gonna do, you're just anchoring the upper leg and we're just moving the lower leg now. So we're gonna turn, maybe I should just face this way. Okay, you're gonna turn the foot out, but you're not moving the entire leg. You actually just rotating the lower leg. Okay, you're gonna kick it out as far as you can manage. Turn the foot the other way in, or you can finger pushing the heel out, back down, and repeat. So it's kind of similar to what we did with the elbows. Okay, so we're gonna turn the foot as far as you can go, straighten out the knee, turn the other way without rotating through the hips. Okay, and then, okay, and let's do just other directions. So we're gonna push it back out, rotate the foot or toes out, then rotate the toes in, kick it out, rotate the toes out, and back down. Okay, so while we're here, let's just also try to, if you want, you can even grab lower or you can just hold the knee. Okay, just try to draw as big of a circle as you can. So if you can even hold the lower leg, okay, and see if you can just rotate through the foot, or the ankle rather. So it's both ankle and foot. Okay, but if you let it relax, you actually rotate through the upper leg a little more. Okay, and let's switch sides. So on the other side, so once again, you can turn the foot out, or you can think of turning the heel in, get it out, turn the heel out, then, okay, and just repeat. Okay, and maybe just 2 times in the other direction. Okay, and if you can hold a little lower. Okay, make sure so you're trying to limit the motion from the lower leg. And then you're just moving through the ankles. And lastly, just see if you can wiggle your toes a little bit, okay, in any way that you like. Okay, so that's just a more exaggerated version of moving everything. So sometimes when let's say we're moving the shoulders, some people you can compensate with your shoulder range of motion with like hip movement, with the trunk movement. But something if you can really lock everything down and just move through the shoulders, that's when we can really kind of work on that joint, kind of joint by joint. Okay, so that took a little longer than I anticipated. But it's okay. We'll just do, sometimes we do a little more one and sometimes do the one more the other. And I actually missed one. So if everyone don't mind, we'll just do one last one. So we forgot the spine. So this one, you can either hold on a chair. It's actually easier if you feel comfortable. If you actually more on the ground like this or on a bed. So something softer for your knees, or if your leg if you have enough flexibility, if your back of your leg, you can also do it with your hands up. So I'm going to demonstrate this way just because I think it's easier for most people. So what we're going to do is that we're trying to move each segment of the spine. So I'm going to tuck the chin in. You try to push the spine that's between your shoulder blades a little bit high up. Okay, and then try to see if you can push the spine on the lower back a little bit higher. Okay, and then we're going to do the opposite. See if you can push your belly button down a little bit. Okay, get your chest down a little bit. Okay, and then get your head up. Okay, so we're trying to so we have three major parts of the spine. We have the cervical, which is the kind of the neck, the thoracic, which is the kind of the mid back, and then the lumbar, which is the lower back area. So we're trying to move each one kind of more independently, I guess you can call it. So everything pushed up first. Okay, you can tuck actually just relax first, and then you can tuck your chin in. Push the middle of your back up a little higher. Try to push the lower parts a little higher. And the opposite, try to lower your stomach down, lower your chest down, and then the neck up. Okay, so one last time. You can kind of do it more continuously, so you can think of just trying to move each part at a time. Okay, when you reach your limit, then do the opposite. Lower extend in lower back, extend the middle of the back, and then extend the upper back, which is the neck. Okay, and just shaking it up. So once again, we're just trying to move each part a little more. Okay, so now let's head on to the moving part. So once again, we're using the towel. You can join us if you have a towel. If not, you can just kind of wave the arms or even just march on the spot. So let's still try to get 10 minutes in. Okay, so let's just try to march on the spot first. And even for the breathing, some people would actually train to slow down the breathing a little bit when we're exercising, even in certain kind of practices. But for this class, just try to breathe in through the nose, I suppose, and then breathing out could be through the nose, could be up through the mouth. Okay, but do try to still breathe into the stomach area as much as we can. So let's warm up the shoulders again. So we are just going to march on the spot while we're just swinging the towel up and down. Okay, let's try to do a little bit of rotation. So imagine you're trying to put on a cape and then take off the cape. Kind of like almost like the Karate Kid movie, the Western one, where you put on the jacket and then you take off the jacket. So what you're doing is that you're doing a giant circle there with the shoulders again. So let's try to put it on, put it off. Okay, and if you feel comfortable, see if you can maybe do it in a more continuous fashion if you want. Okay, and when you've done it about maybe 5 times, see if you can put the jacket on the other way and then take it off the other way. Okay, so jacket on, jacket off. 3. Okay, and if you feel comfortable, you can see if you can just do it more continuously. And 5. Okay, so maybe let's do 5 more just smoothly. Okay, so be just 1. Okay, and your goal is to try to get the hand behind the head a little bit more. Breathe. 4, 5, get out of the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can even notice how are you doing that. So some people, if the shoulders are stuck, they might kind of lean forward or bend his spine a little more. The goal is just to be able to do it mostly with just your shoulders pretty much. Okay, so let's start for marching our feet for a second, and we're just going to rotate it side to side. So actually just keep moving your feet, and we'll just kind of rotate the band or the towel side to side. Okay, still moving our feet a little bit. Okay, so now can we just use one arm to bring it front to back? Okay, so my left arm is kind of just at my belly button, and I'm just moving my right arm to bring the towel front to back. Okay, and let's do a couple of times out of the way. You can kind of feel there's differences between the two sides. You can even just kind of reach up and across. Okay, let's use our lower body a little bit. So the challenge is to, with your hands in your stomach, see if you can swing the towels around. So think of it for a second first. Okay, so how can I spin the towel around without moving my arms? Okay, so just gotta figure it out. It might be easier if your towel is longer and heavier. There's maybe more momentum. Okay, but when you're ready, see if you can kind of move it a little bit faster. So for this one, you do want to move your feet so that it's actually turning in the same direction at the end of the rotation. If you get dizzy, just look forward. So let's try to do this for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and let's try to use both the arms and our lower body. Okay, so a combination. Let's try to do it for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and back to the marching. Okay, so I know we talked about in snow shuffling, but we don't want to just use my arms. So if we're swinging the towel just like this, we're just using our arms to rotate it. We probably don't want to just use our lower body. It's usually a combination of the two, which is why we can move the towel more quickly when we're doing both turning hips and both swinging of the arms, because we're using the whole body instead of just one part. Okay, so let's go back to the cross pattern. So still marching the spot, okay, but we are just swinging the towel in an X pattern in front. Okay, so same thing as before. Can we just move it with just one arm? Okay, and feel free to stop the feet if you want to, but if you're able to, see if you can coordinate the feet. Okay, and then just with the left arm. So I'm already good at this side either. Okay, but see if you can just move the towel. Move the towel with just your left arm. Okay, and lastly, can we do the pattern with just our lower body? So you might want to bring it up a little bit of your chest. Might make it a little easier. Okay, there might be a little bit of side to side, a little bit of a shoulder dip. Okay, but explore if you can kind of swing the towel with just the lower body without moving the arms too much. A little bit might be unavoidable. So holding on for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and lastly, see if you can do a big motion, okay, but with both the arms and lower body. Okay, so try to see if you can chop something down. Okay, so we hold for 10, 9. So you can use a little bit of force to throw the towel towards the floor. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and now a smaller motion, but a little bit faster. Okay, so really try to swing a little quicker We'll do it for 10 more seconds. So 10, 9. You should feel your abdominals tighten a little bit. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and relaxing for a second. Okay, if your grip is getting tight, you can always just, of course, shake it off. Okay, and we can just work on just a foot for a second. Okay, so while we rest our hands, let's just try to move our feet a little more quickly. Okay, so keep it simple, just doing forward and back. Okay, side to side. Okay, so now let's try to change direction more quickly. Okay, so let's go slowly one way. Okay, and see if you can actually, you know what? Just try to move a little more quickly side to side. So don't push out too hard. It might be a little hard on the knees if you change direction too quickly. Okay, but see if you can just work on shuffling a little more quickly side to side. Okay, and let's do combinations of forward and back. Okay, but all the meanwhile going kind of sideways. Okay, and let's grab our towels yes again. Okay, and we'll go into more the hinging pattern. So this is, you can use, some people call it swing pattern. So you're just going to swing the towel back and forth. Okay, but once again, we don't want to just move the arms. Okay, so this is not the most optimal or not the most powerful thing we can do. You're going to reach the towel behind and push your butt back at the same time. So you're sitting on a tall stool and then coming back up. So this pattern is a little bit easier if your towel is a little bit heavier. If it's too light, there's nothing for you to push against, and it might be a little bit difficult to coordinate. Okay, so now relax the arms. So you can just kind of, once again, put the towel just at your belly button, and see if you can still swing the towel up. So I know it probably looks a little strange, but then once again, the idea is that can we just use our legs to push the towel forward. So if you don't have a coordination there, you might not get a towel very high. Okay, but see if you can just get a towel up. Okay, so this is also like a jump pattern. It's also able to move quickly as well, because if you move too slow, the towel is not going to go anywhere. So you need to be kind of quicker. Once again, we get slower with age, not just weaker. Okay, now extend the arm. It might be more natural this way. Okay, still keep the kind of arm straight and relaxed, but you're swinging the towel. Kind of just swing the towel with the lower leg. Okay, and finally, see if you can do both. Okay, so swing the towel up and launch it upwards with the hips at the same time. So this takes a little bit of practice to coordinate. But it's actually not a bad pattern to practice. Okay, so let's do 10 more seconds of this. 10. So we're focusing. Throwing the towel forward. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so if you're doing it right, you should feel almost like tightness in the hips, behind the leg, and even your breathing might get a little bit more tired or faster. So it's the same thing when we're lifting something up. It's actually the exact same pattern. So once again, when we lift something heavy, so it could be any sort of weight, like a box, we don't really want to pull it up with the arms too much because our arms are much weaker than our legs. So we want to use our legs to push it this way. So if you have a dumbbell, you know how to do this, but just to demonstrate, it's actually a cardio exercise as well. But if you can get kind of, you can actually get quite a bit of heavy weight forward and up like this. So that's using mostly the hips actually. So that weight is actually 24 kilograms for about 55 pounds. So of course, not everyone need to lift that weight. But the idea is, once again, try to learn how to use the lower body. And the towel is one way that we can see. So if you don't stop moving your arms and the towel goes nowhere, it means that you're used to moving things with your arms. But if you can still try to move the towel up and down, it means you've kind of learned to use the hips. The only thing to be careful of is that the over arch like this, the power comes from the hip. So we call this hip extension, and that's a big muscle in the body. Okay, so let's take a little break. In the meantime, grab the towel, excuse me. Sorry, not the towel, the resistant band, maybe a chair again, just so we can have some things to sit on or anchor the band to. Okay, so let's take a little bit of a break, I guess. So today let's work on the back of the arm first. So this is the tricep muscle. This is the one sometimes we want to get rid of or make it firmer, I suppose. It is also useful when we're sitting up on a chair or we need to push ourselves up. That's the muscle we're using to straighten out the elbow. So how I want to do this, let's do this variation today. You're going to grab the middle of the band, so hold the towel in the middle, like another towel, I suppose. And you're just going to anchor it on your opposite shoulder. So this is my left hand. I'm going to go over to my right shoulder. Okay, and the other hand, you're just going to grab the ends of the band, and I guess give it a loop, so it's just easier to hold. I like to actually get the thumb, instead of thumb like this, I like to have the thumb kind of over the band instead. So because otherwise the band is going to dig into, I guess something we call it webbing, I suppose. So get the thumb on the outside. And what you're going to do is going to hold everything still, except you're going to push this arm straight, okay, and then slowly back out. Okay, so 2. Okay, if you don't find uncomfortable, you can always just hook the thumb to the inside again, but it can dig in quite a bit. So 3, 4, 5. Okay, always try to hold it at the very end for a little longer. 6, 7. You want to breathe out as you exert your strength. 8, 9, 10. Okay, and once again, doesn't matter so much how many times we're doing. What matters is that we're pushing towards kind of our own limit, the band that we have. So you should stop when you feel like you can at most do maybe 3 to 5 more repetitions. Okay, whatever that number may be. Okay, and even upper arm is actually working a little bit as well to stabilize the band. Okay, so we only did one side, so let's switch over to the other side. So once again, hold on to it like a towel, go to the opposite shoulder, grab the ends, and then wrap it up. Another way I like to do it is that I just kind of crumble everything together so I have more stuff to hold. That can be more comfortable as well. And you're just going to push it down. This is actually the most comfortable version for myself. So this way it's not digging into this part of my thumb, and I have lots of things to hold on to. So you can give it a try, crumble everything up, and then have the palm facing forward as you push down. Okay, and back up. Okay, so 3. Okay, once again, try to see if you can get the very last bit of straightening your elbow. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if you want to make it harder, don't let the band go up all the way. So when you go up high, there's no tension in the band, and that makes it so your muscles start working pretty much. So if you want to make it harder, you can just go up quarter of the way maybe, and then back down immediately. And this can help stimulate muscle growth as well because the muscle is working without taking a rest in between each time. Okay, and when you do that, you might get more of a sore feeling as you do the lifting. Okay, so shake it out. Excuse me. Okay, and let's go on to the lower leg. So today, let's do just a combination of outside and backwards. Okay, so you're still kind of standing on one leg. Okay, and what you're gonna do is that you're gonna just lift it out to the side, back there. Okay, and then try to lift it back. Okay, so when we're not using as much weight, we might move more times. Okay, so once again, it doesn't matter as much what if you're using, how much weight you're using, or kind of how many times, so the actual number. If you can get our muscles to get tired to the point where we can at most do maybe 3 more times, 3 to 5 more times, that would actually can help to stimulate muscle growth as well. So while we're doing that, it might actually be the standing hip that's going to give out first. Okay, so I don't know what number we're at, but let's try to keep moving until we can, and most feel like you can do maybe 3 to 5 more times. If it's too easy for you, see if you can turn it into almost like a balance exercise. So use less of your other hand and see if you can keep your balance while you're kicking to the side and down. Okay, so my standing hip is actually getting quite tight. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. Okay, if you're still going, great, good for you. So that might show, okay, that might make sense to put a little more weight because we don't want to be standing here for 10 minutes just to make our muscles get tired. So that might not be the most efficient use of time. Okay, so once again, you can try using less of your hands. Okay, but try to stay straight without kind of swing upper body too much. Okay, and go up. Okay, and back. And once again, one way to make it harder is not to drop the foot all the way down. So see if you can put it up, maybe back down quarter way, halfway, and immediately go into the back. Okay, so now I can definitely feel this hip working a lot harder because I'm not letting it rest as much. So sometimes small changes like this can create different effects, I suppose. So now my moving hip is a lot more tight than my standing hip, okay, by changing how low I lower my leg each time. Okay, and the moving leg already gave up for me. Okay, so play around, sometimes explore. So again, the idea is not just to go through the motion, but think about, okay, what am I trying to achieve with this exercise and how can I create this stimulus for that? So if I'm trying to work on this side, okay, I might need to just not let it come there. If I'm trying to work on my standing balance, okay, then maybe I just let it come there. So this leg has to work longer. And so you can just change it a little bit to create different effects. Okay, and let's check it out. Okay, so next one, more of a balanced one, also a combination exercise. So 2 ways to do it. I'm going to show the standing version first, which tends to be a little easier. Okay, and then I'm going to show the kneeling version. So if you have your mat, you can bring that out. Okay, so this one is the one, I think we did this before actually in one of the previous classes. Okay, but you're going to stick your bum out. So you're kneeling for a little bit. Okay, and you're going to be light on your hands so that you're not death gripping the chair. We want to use our legs to balance. And you're just going to slide one leg back and then slide one arm forward. Okay, and see if you can maybe lift it out a little bit. Okay, and then cut back down. If you can, when you get the chair out of the way, touch the knee. And once again, reaching back out. And you're trying to be as stable as you can. So without kind of going all over the place. Okay, see if you can just touch. Okay, and then reach. Okay, if you want to do this, if you feel comfortable on the ground, if your knee feels okay, you can try this version. Okay, so this one, you're gonna go on to this 4 points position where your hands and knees are on the ground. And exact same thing. You're just trying to reach out to the heel, reach out the arm, okay, without turning your hips side to side too much. Okay, so if you have a bowl of water on your back, it's not going to kind of spill over. Okay, you're gonna touch, okay, and reaching out again. Okay, so for example, okay, so you can take either version, okay, but the goal is that if I put something over my back, I don't know if that shows up well on camera, okay, but if I move my arms and legs, it doesn't topple over. So if I start to do things like this, I'm not stabilizing my hips. Okay, so pick one of the two, and then you can try both. Okay, so let's try. You probably did one side already, so let's try the other side. So see if you can be light on the hands. Okay, so I'm going to do half and half. So I'm going to do maybe 8 standing. I'm going to do 8 on the ground just to demonstrate. Okay, but once again, the idea is to nothing moves in your body except for the arm and leg. Okay, I'm going to show a couple on the ground. Okay, and once again, you don't have to do the ground version if you're not comfortable doing so. Okay, but if you can, you can just give it a try to have some variety. Okay, and then coming back up. So a little bit of balance, or this is really hip stabilizing the spine. So we need that to, anytime we're holding on to something and we don't want to topple over, all this has to work to in order not for you to not like just crumble or fall sideways. Okay, so that was a combination of balance and whole body, because we're also lifting the arms and legs. Okay, so let's repeat these 3 exercises. So the first one, see if you remember what to do. So that's a towel drape. Excuse me. Okay, so strap the towel in the middle of your hands. Go over to one side, opposite shoulder. Either loop around the hands a few times or crumble the band into a giant ball, a bigger ball, with the palms kind of facing upwards. And you just try to straighten out the elbow, go in there. Okay, if you can, see if you can not let go of the band, or don't let the band come out too high. So your arm muscles are always working. Okay, so 4, 5. Okay, you might notice that the arm gets tired much more quickly. I think that was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's actually my upper arm that's getting more tired. 14, 15. So sometimes it's interesting how it might even not what we're looking for. So it actually turned it, this side actually got more tired for myself. So once again, not necessarily a bad thing. It just depends on what we are trying to do. Okay, so other side, same idea. Okay, so play around with how you're doing it. See what that feels like. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if I want to just really work on the back of the arm, I really have to just let go, just bend a little bit almost for myself. Compared to the full motion, the full motion might actually be better for, I can feel it more if I do the full range, at least for the back of the arm. So something, once again, something you can think about. Okay, what am I trying to work on? Which way do I, when I do it, I feel the most effort in that area. And that's the one that we might want to pick if that's our goal. Okay, and then the second one is the kicking the hip up and then just to the side. So you can either choose to work on the, we call this a stance leg, so the non-moving leg. So you can try to just bring your foot down and then back and forth. And this way you're training more of this leg. If you try to work on the other side a little more, then see if you can not lower it all the way. And just repeat between the two directions without dropping the leg down. Okay, so you can choose to hold on to the hands or not, okay, depending on, once again, what you're trying to work on. Okay, so maybe a combination. And that's about it for me. And I'm just going to test it by lower my leg. Okay, see how that feels for myself. When I'm more tired, actually, still is quite a bit more on the standing leg. Okay, so sometimes the order we do things will make a difference as well, because we already kind of fatigued our opposite hip before. We might not be able to do as much. So something to think about as well. Okay, last one. This is called the bird dog. That's the one where you are leaning forward, either leaning forward like this or on the ground. Okay, and once again, I'm going to do both versions. So you're just trying to reach over your head that way, the hands, reach, I guess, towards the heel on the opposite side. Doing on the ground would create, train the shoulder a little bit more as well. And standing version would look like this. Oops. Okay, check it out. And just the last set. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just switch on myself. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, just shake everything out. Okay, so good job, everyone. We have about 5 minutes for stretching. Okay, so okay, let's once again keep it basic one first. Let's have a seat. Just shoulder across, arm across rather. Pulling our arms in. Okay, so this might be a good time for us to see if we can breathe through our nose and then breathe a little slow as well. So because we're trying to promote relaxation or rest right now after we kind of push our body a little bit. So we're trying to slow down our breathing. Okay, opposite direction, just hands behind, chest out. Sometimes I like to just move my neck at the same time. Okay, shoulders down, reaching underneath our seat. And in the opposite direction, you can choose to use your hands a little bit to pull our shoulders down and then pull our ears in the opposite direction. Okay, and same thing. The opposite way. Okay, basic hips. Cross our legs, pulling the knee towards the opposite middle of the chest or the opposite shoulder. Okay, while you're leaning forward a little bit. Same thing on the opposite side. Okay, let's stretch the front a little bit differently today. So let's turn sideways. The back rest should be here. You might not be able to do this if you have a chair with armrest, but just it doesn't hurt to know another way to do this. So you're just going to push the leg back, or the leg that was dangling out off the seat. Okay, and see, once again, see if you can don't over arch your back like this. See if you can pull the front of your pants up to the ceiling a little bit. Okay, all the meanwhile you're trying to kind of straighten out the leg that's dangling and then holding onto the backrest. You can also choose to hold onto the front of the seat. Okay, but remember, we're not trying to stretch our back or to extend it back like this. So try to see if you can bring your chest down, lift the front of your pants up. Okay, so you try to open at the hips, not so much the back. So it's a feel in the front of the hips. Okay, and ready. You can just turn over to the other way. Okay, so you might have to sit also a little bit off the edge a little bit so that this leg can kind of dangle out the front of the chair. Okay, same thing if you feel like you're arching your back where you're not in the best position. So see if you can bring your chest down, lift the belt buckle up, or the meanwhile, see if you can kind of shuffle your foot back, or you can also try to straighten out this leg. So this version is not bad in the sense that the chair blocks you from kind of leaning too far forward, or if you're doing standing, sometimes you can almost do this a little bit and you don't get much of a stretch here while we're sitting there. We can't cheat in that way, even though we can still kind of cheat while back. So be careful with that. Okay, and let's just do one last one. So if you know how to do it, just kind of thank you for coming. But if you have time, see if you can just have your legs straight. Just kind of hold it here for 15 seconds. I think I talked a little bit too much. I made the first part took a little longer today, so it might be just, hopefully it will be just a minute over time. Okay, so I think we just reached 7:46. So that's all the time we have for today. So thank you for coming. See everyone next week. Bye bye. You're welcome. Bye.